Hey, I'm Captain Eddie. Welcome to my shop. Today I have a little project for you. We're going to hollow a piece. Yeah, say 8 inches by 6 inches. Nice piece. We're going to hollow it out. You say you don't have real good hollowing equipment? That's okay, we can do it without it. I want to show you how we're going to do this. And that's coming up now. All you got to do, watch. I'm going to have to explain to you how we got to that project. I want to start by saying I couldn't find a block big enough to hollow. And I'm going to continue by telling you that my arm hurt so bad that hollowing freehanded was going to be out of the question, because you have to twist around and you get a little... There's a way around it, but I'm not quite set up to that yet. So I saw something at a club meeting, and that's why belonging to a wood turning club is so important, because you see other ideas, other techniques, other ways to skin the cat. So I didn't get a big block. I got a couple of smaller blocks. I got 2 blocks, 8 by 8 by 3 inches thick, from the same log, 1 cut away, which means the lumberyard chop one, chop another, and I got those 2 pieces. Pretty close on the grain. This is what I did. Follow along here. Whoop. Not that close. Okay. Here are the 2 3 by 3, 8 by 8 by 3 inch blocks, and they're going to be put together. And this is going to be the wall of the piece. Oh wait. No. I don't know. Which way do you like it? You see, this type of turning allows a whole lot of change and a lot of design opportunities. What we did, or what I did, take each block and I put it on a glue block. Here's one. Here's one. I held that glue block and I put a receiver in this end, in this end. Then I'm going to hold this on the chuck and shape this. Fortunately, this side shapes at the same time. Alright. Then I'm going to put it back on a glue block and I'm going to do the interior. And I'm going to make sure that this line is dead flat going across. Then I'm going to do this one. Now, it'll take a real genius to figure out that when I'm done, I'm going to glue them together and finish them together. That's it. I hollowed without hollowing. Yeah, we created a hollowed vessel. Finished smoothly on the inside. A lot of people think that's real important. Like, only wood turners stick their fingers inside to see if it's finished. So if you try to impress wood turners, make sure it's finished. But you're going to do that, hollow it out and finish the inside. Now, why does that give us a little more experience? Because we're going to use hollowing tools to do that hollowing. I'm going to use 2 different tools. And you're going to be able to see how they work straight on like it's a bowl. So if this was 1 block of wood and you were hollowing it, you would know how that hollow works. Now you know what we're trying to do? Time to make some shavings. Right? Right. I'm going to play it safe right off the bat. Before I even put that socket and flatten up some of the side, I'm going to make this thing round, because I don't like spinning pieces of wood that are not round. And the safest way to make something round is between centers. I'm using my Ellsworth, my 1/2 inch Ellsworth, to do that. My next move would be to put a socket over here. I'm using my template. With that would be a pretty good fit for a socket. You understand? This is be a socket that my jaws would fit in. This would be a tenon my jaws would fit on, to be as close to being perfectly round as possible. I keep it stored with a rare earth magnet on the back, right there. It likes to sleep there. Bring the speed up, make a couple of cuts. Banging on it seems a little hard. You can always change it about. Use a fingernail gouge. Please bear with me if you've seen this before, but I sharpen my skew on an angle. That angle corresponds with that angle on the inside of the jaws, and it's real close to that angle on the outside of the jaws. And that allows me to make this little cut right here undercut. And I have to be sure the bottom of that is clean. What do I mean? I mean that doesn't have any buildup or any trash or anything. So when this jaw opens up in there, that it fits real snugly. Snuggly right up against it. See, can you see that? It's going to open up right in there. And when I said earlier, not too deep, see this gap right here? We need that gap. You don't want this to be bearing against the jaws. You want this to be bearing against the piece. I just turned the piece around, so now it's on the jaws on this side. Look at the registration. Perfect. Perfect registration. What does that mean, really? Registration means that I've taken my true center from here, put it over there, and now when I go back over here again, I'll still have a true center. That's registration. Now I'm going to start cutting away on the outside. I'm going to start shaping the outside using this Ellsworth. This is a 1/2 inch powdered metal Ellsworth made by Jerry Glazer. I've got the standard Ellsworth grind on the front of it, and I just touched it up with one pass across my CBN wheel using the Blackhawk jig and rake. One pass is all it took to put that edge right back on there. Razor sharp, ready to go, and I didn't leave any metal on the grinder. That's the important part. If you've got a lot of money to keep buying tools, you can leave metal behind. But if you sharpen up just with one touch, you don't need to leave a lot of metal behind. Now, right now, I have the opportunity to do something that very often you don't get, and you should take advantage of. Right there, you see it? I'm bringing up the tailstock. I'm going to be between centers. Why? It is the safest way to turn a piece. I'm going to take some light slices until I establish some line. I need to get you in a better position so I can show you something about the bevel. I just said some light passes. You know how I can make a light pass with a 1/2-inch gouge? The flute is going to be vertical. This is the flute's vertical. I get a minimal cut. So I'm able to take a light pass. If I open that flute, the cut changes. Now let's talk about why I'm cutting in this method. Let's think about this block of wood as a whole bunch of straws, all taped together and laid out right here. And there are the ends of the straws. Now, if I make a cut this way, I'm going to catch the ends of those straws and throw them open. If I make a cut this way, sliding downhill, I'm going to slice the ends of those straws off. So although it would seem to be easy to find the reed over here and pass down, until you get to the minimum that you want to take, your cut is from here downhill. Here, this way. Got it? Got it. I've already put the socket on the other side. I'm going to start shaping this up. I changed the position a little bit because you can see on these post strokes don't get lazy and not move the tool rest up every once in a while. Oh, over here, you can't see it. Come on, bear with me. You see that offset right there? That is the matchup to the other side. So I can't get any smaller than that. Well, get a big gap in here. Get that tool rest in there close so you can work. When we talked registration, it also works for this side. Look at that. You hear it? No wobble. But because I want to take some wood out of this, I think I want to put the tailstock up against it for a little bit, just until I get some heavy wood out of here. Then I'll get rid of it. It's always safe to play with the tailstock up and away. Okay? And for the first couple of cuts, I'm going to stick with my Ellsworth. Watch the fluid on the gouge for the cut. From closed, open, nice and smooth. Like the on or off switch for your gouge. You don't like the bounce? Close, turn, remember the part where I said I'd show you a couple of hollowing tools? Well, this is one. This is the woodcut tool. It's the Flexi Hollower by Woodcut. It's got a guard over a hooked edge right there, which restricts how much of a bite you can take. You need to be in a different place. Alright, this is the tool. Makes it pretty good cut. That's what's coming out of it. I roll it over, introduce it. As you can see, if it's down inside of a piece, you learn how to fine tune how much is showing on this cutter up here. And that's the key, is how much do you show. Because you can roll this back and forth, in and out, and minimize the exposure on a cutter, which minimizes the cut. You got it? I had to move you a little bit because you were in my headroom. I could get my socket out and fine tune this and reduce how much is showing a little bit more, get a little finer cut. I want to show you something. I'm hogging out some wood. Look how nice that cut is, though. That's a pretty good cut for hogging some wood out. got onto the screw back here. I need to move the tool rest out a little bit to compensate for that. I kind of like that. I'm about a constant quarter all the way around. That's where I think I want to be. Now I'm going to fix this edge. What I just did was take a scraper and scrape this edge until I got it right. And that was when I put a straight edge across. I've got good bearing on both across the entire face. That's critical for a good glue joint. But what I missed was, see this? See this dark spot? It's going to be a crack. So, one more time. Because this is what's going to put them together. Got rid of 99% of it. Not real. I don't want that 99 thing. Now we're there. I got rid of it. And I'm straight across flat. I'm looking pretty good on the inside too. Now, if it's the bottom, then I don't have any problems with this. If it's the top, I'm going to be able to reach down inside, pick this up, and carry it through. So I'm in good shape both ways. Do you like this one? We're going to do another. This is the one I turned earlier, and what I shaped up just now. Then I want to put them together, set them off, put something opaque behind them so I can see if the overall shape works, and look for flats. I see I'm going to have a flat right here, okay? But I got a little room here to roll it out, a little room here to roll it out, so I can get that out. I do want to have that poofed or puckered edge, that pouty edge. So this is going to be my top. And this will be the bottom. Now I have to get rid of all that. Then I'll be ready to put them together. Now I don't want to change the overall dimension or the overall thickness too much when I turn it, when I hollow it out. So what it means is finer cuts, no catches. You know what a catch is? Yeah, a design opportunity. We're not going to have any of those. And again, if I have it on my glue block right, I've got pretty darn good registration between the piece. So I'm safe. And I'm talking to you, and I need to get the hollowing, don't I? All right. I put it together, and I looked at color matches and grain matches. I'm going to do pretty good right here. And I'm putting that line there because I want to come back to that when I'm gluing it up. I get my center registration off my glue block. This is the top, this is the bottom. So after I line it back up again, I'll be turning it around and fixing that lid, and then I'll piece it up, part it off. But we back off our tailstock. You can see I'm all ready. I'm all cleaned up on the inside, ready. I'm going to put it together with right there. Why? Gives me a nice tight glue joint. Very little staining from the glue. I don't like the Gorilla Grip stuff and all that. I like to go back to my old standards. This is as close as I can get. One good bead. I'm going to bring that tailstock up, get it real close. I'm going to roll it around, get those two lines lined up. Put a little bit of pressure. Then I really should wipe off that bead of glue. I don't need it. It doesn't do anything. And a good clean joint's an easy joint to see. So I'm going to stick with this. Now, I am of the school that says glue cures. With that in mind, it's going to sleep overnight while I sleep overnight. Tomorrow we're going to come back and scrape this thing and get it cleaned up and turn it around. I think we'll fix the lid before we do some staining. We're going to do some staining on this one. Alright, see you in the morning. Time passed. Later overnight. This has been about 12-13 hours now curing. It was dried and ready. I could have worked on it in an hour and a half. I like to let glue cure. Now we have it still between the centers. Now just to give you an idea, because of how we registered it and lined it up, this is running pretty darn true, because I still have the center mark from when it was originally chucked as a glue block, starting the glue block, and that's where my tailstock is. Still in a clamp on the other, bottom, top. And now we want to clean this up. Now, I have a little bit of a difference between the two right here in the center, so I'm going to work there and work out to the edges. Because of that little difference, I'm going to probably shear scrape this with a gouge, or take it off with a gouge first. It's about a 32nd of an inch or so. But I'm going to remove that, and then I'm going to take a scraper and go down the sides. And the scraper is going to be one of my 16mm round cutters. And I'll tell you more when I start scraping this, but we're going to get the shape of this up right now. Going to go to a large Ellsworth to start cutting on this. And I'm going to go way low on the tool rest with this tool. Because what I want to get off of it are those little fine wispies. Shaping this up and doing the shear scraping, I want to keep the handle low and get a fresh, nice, clean edge. Because I want to make sure I can work this going back and forth, taking the divots or bumps out. Just like I explained a little while ago, don't be afraid to stop and move that tool rest around. You don't want to be hanging over the tool rest too far, and you don't want to get where you don't have complete control over the tool. So like I want to be right here. I don't have a great control of them unless I move the tool rest to a little bit better position. And it's the elephant thing all over again. How to eat an elephant? Little bitty bites. So you can't rush this. If you're looking to get into for a speed event, you're in the wrong event. I'm doing the final tune-up with that 18mm rolled over on the edge. And the goal is to get all this very smooth but not sanded. The key is not sanded. I want to get it scraped to a nice smooth working. And again, when you do this stuff, to feel for bumps and flat spots, you roll something around on it and you'll feel if there's a flat spot. Like right there, there's something that makes it stop. So you look at the shadow, and yes, there is a little bit of a rise right there. What I do is scrape that away. We're going to start dyeing the piece. Sitting like it is, it's ready. This is a brand name product that we're going to use. These are available at Craft Supplies and other suppliers. I'm mixing these little mason type jars, bell jars. This is a bell or ball jar. It's about 2 portions of denatured alcohol to 1 portion of the dye. I'm using a little chip brush from Home Depot, and I'm just going to work it in. This is the black. It soaks in very readily. Maybe I'll put you in a different spot. See how I can do this. There you go. Can't have any holidays in the base. This is the base. Now, the alcohol is the vehicle to move it in. The alcohol-based dyes dry pretty quickly if you give them a little kick in the butt. And it's only alcohol. The dye will now dry, and you will also be drying the wood that's underneath, which will help you get a good finish. And the next step is to help you sand a little bit. That's the key. Now, I keep it moving because I don't want a hot spot to generate at the base of the flame, because it'll come around and do a frying right there. Now, I've got a really good, dry, crisp coating on this right now, or finish on this. And now we start the sanding. Speed is about 400 or 500 RPMs. This is 100 grit. This is how we're going to blend the color. You see how we've sanded a lot of it away? even where I have the streaks, and I want it to be lighter, I've sanded there. I will sand the whole piece with that 100 grit, then go to the next step. My next step is to apply another coat of color. But because I want this bottom to be actually a little bit more in the shadows, I'm going to go back down here and put a little more dark in the very bottom. And just about out of the blended out black I have, so I'll use up the last of this. So I've sanded it one time. I want to black that out. Now I'm going to go to my next accent color, which is a red. I've thinned this red a pretty good bit with alcohol because I don't think I want a dark red. You see how it's going over the top of the black? And the black smears and stains are showing through. Well, they may very well go away. I can talk. When I sand the next time. And again, this is alcohol based, and again, yeah, we dry it off. Now here's a caution: if you put alcohol inside that piece and it's a very wet piece and you light this, it's going to throw a very quick hot flash out of there. It's going to scare the living heck out of you, and if your piece is weak, it's going to blow it apart. So let's just not put a lot of stuff down inside of it. Okay? And since it's alcohol, it doesn't really give you a bright yellow flame. Now, we sand it with 100 a minute ago. We're now going to go to 120. As we go along, you're going to see some color changes, of course. But say you've sanded a little bit too much color out and you want to go back and put some in. Well, that's easy to do. I really think that center band has got to be a little redder. That'll cover that joint better. I'm going to fade it on the bottom and top a little bit. Just a little. I don't want some distinct clear lines between some of these colors, so you kind of play a little bit with the brush. Keep in mind, it's your work of art. You can pretty much do anything you want with it. That's what I'm going to do. Now, I want to bring out the last of the accents, and that's with the yellow. I got this technique from Phil Irons. He was at the AAW this year and shared a lot of techniques, and you can see that if you worked it, you can blend out all that blotching that you have. Okay? And you don't want any holidays in a color. At least I don't believe you do. Don't worry about the inside. I've got a special trick for the inside. Let it dry up a while. Now we allowed it to rest for a while, but I think you can see what I wanted to accomplish. I'm going from dark through a red into a yellow. Got a very small hole at the top. I want you to notice some of the streaks and stains from the black where I ran it up. They come through, add a little more character to an otherwise pretty boring piece of poplar. The piece is very light. Now, I need to hold it for a while I put some finish on it. So, rather than cut the foot off right now, I'm going to go ahead and start sealing it with Deft and then bring the color up. Okay? But you just got to see how to hollow something without really hollowing something. And you get to see how your hollowing tools work. Now I'm working on another hollowing tool right now, one you can build in your shop and the parts are real inexpensive. A handheld rig. In fact, Hayden just hollowed something with it last week. So I'm going to show you that and a whole lot more as we get together, because we're here making shavings. I'm Captain Eddie Castle, and be sure you like me on Facebook. Check me out at Big Guy Productions on Facebook. This is really nice. I think you're going to like the finished piece. When I get done, the picture will be on Facebook. But I'm going to put a glossy Deft finish on it. Yeah. How am I going to get there? I think it involves shine juice for a build-up coat. I'll give you the details when I post it. You take care, be good, and I'll see you back here again sometime soon. This is nice.